Hi there. We're just getting set up. We're gonna we're gonna do a live session tonight. It's 6 p.m. or just after 6 Mountain Time. Everyone's kind of getting off work and maybe having dinner or just relaxing after the day. So I'm yeah, gonna get set up here. I have some oracle cards I was thinking of pulling, plus talking about wellness and recovery. And yeah, we'll see what else comes up. I feel like I've prepared a few talking points, but a part of this is just to kind of go with the flow and see what happens. So yeah, I just wanted to start off with a checklist for daily acts of living. So this is one way to kind of gauge how you're doing and if you're able to do the acts of daily living. So let's do a checklist. So today, are you able to brush your teeth? Are you able to do your hair care? Either brush it, put it in a ponytail, um, put it up out of your face, do whatever you need to do. Were you able to do fresh clothes? So, one of the ways that I like to kind of shift my energy is to put a fresh new set of clothes on. So, that's one way we can take care of ourselves. So yeah, sorry, I kind of just jumped right in. I didn't even tell you who I am or what I'm here for, but my name is Rochelle. I'm here with Healthy Aligned Living, and I'm just here to talk about wellness and give you some tips and tricks for your pathway, your road to wellness. Um, I grew up just outside of Edmonton on Treaty 6 territory, and I studied university at Vancouver Island University in Nanaimo. And yeah, back to our list. Did you have some food today? Were you able to fill your body with some nutrients? And then the last but not least, were you able to get some movement? Did you get out of bed? Did you go for a short little walk? Did you do some flights of stairs? What way did you get some exercise in? My goal is to do about a half an hour every day, even if it's just a short walk, something to get the body going here. So, yeah. One of the other tips that I like to give people is drink as much water as possible. It is our body will thank us. It's good for us. It's good for our skin, and it's good for us. I don't know what ways. Oh my goodness, sorry. The cat is going wild right now. His name is Cheeto. Maybe he'll make another appearance and I can show you guys what he looks like. He's an orange cat and he is my main man. He is a really special animal in my life. So I hope that he will, yeah, come and say hi again. I just wrote down a few things that I wanted to talk about. And I have this book here with me. One of my, they say sometimes people ask you, it's like, oh, who could you meet? If you could meet anyone in the world, who could you meet? My person may be Louise Hay. She wrote this book called Heart Thoughts, A Treasury of Inner Wisdom. She also writes a book called You Can Heal Your Life and You Can Heal Your Body. Um, and she really talks about how our emotions are connected to our body and how we can feel there's a connection between our mental state and our physical state. I just want to point out my picture. I painted that one, the raven and the moon back there. The moon glows. And that is my favorite part of the picture. We were able to use some glow in the dark paint. But yeah, this book here, I chose a quote quickly that talks about being comfortable and having peace within your own self. So the short quote is, "It is safe to look within for my peace of mind. Each time you look deep into yourself, you are going to find incredibly beautiful treasures." Oh, I just love that. I am the center of peace. I affirm the following. So it's just like a short little passage. I might skim a little bit, but I just like this message is that peace comes from within. It's not something that we find outside of ourselves. So this Louise Hay says, "The outer world does not touch me. I am in charge of my own being. I guard my inner world, for it is there that I create. I do whatever I need to do to keep my inner world peaceful." And I love that. Doing what we need to protect our peace, and that if that means setting up boundaries um, or following what we're interested in. I think, when it comes to mental health, one of the things that I have struggled with in the past is either depression or just that I don't know, it feels like, you kind of lose sight of who you are, or uh, what it feels like to be yourself. And so once you are on the other side of depression and you catch a glimpse of who you are again, there is a fire that comes alive, I think, in you to protect that peace, to protect that sense of being who you are, and that sense of wanting to express yourself to its full capacity. I may see it as a peaceful, deep, quiet pool surrounded by green grass and tall, silent trees. Oh, that's a nice image. I talked about in my previous live about how I don't really know if I'm a prairie girl or a coastal girl. I grew up in the prairies, but I lived my adult life on the coast. And but the image of like tall grass that's just like maybe even like swaying in the breeze, and just like these big huge trees, that brings me so much peace. So I don't know, it's kind of contradictory. Here I am saying peace is within yourself, but then there are things that bring you peace that are outside of yourself. So what do we do? That's kind of, I'm saying two things here, and I'm really sorry. In my psychology classes, we talked about going into a state of flow. And so that's when you lose track of time and space, and you're in the moment. You are present with those around you. So, in positive psychology, that's called going into a state of flow. And in my life, what I found is volleyball does that for me. When I'm playing, when I'm on the court, nothing else matters. Nothing else can touch me. And so I'm curious for you, anyone who's listening and watching out there, what brings you peace? What gets you into your state of flow? What helps you lose track of time and space and brings you into the moment? I'm curious. Feel free to comment in the chat, or just take a second to think of yourself. I think that when we're in that state of flow, it's really, really positive for our general well-being. And the more times we can engage in that state, I think the better that we will typically feel. Okay. I'm going to keep on looking through this book. It's called Heart Thoughts, and it's just little passages, and it's called A Treasury of Inner Wisdom. So Louise Hay is one of my people that I look up to. She really shares about the connection between the mind and body. Okay, what are we going? Oh, this one's nice. Okay. So this one is I am in harmony with nature. Okay. Fine. And this is a good practice. It says find an image of something you really love. Flowers, a rainbow, a special song, a beautiful place, whatever. Let that be the image you envision anytime you get scared. That's really good because it's like we navigate through life and we get anxieties, we get, scared, we get fearful. And so it's like, to, what do we do when we're scared? If you have any tips or tricks for me, I'm also open to that too. Feel free to comment in the chat. If there's anything that you'd like me to share with the world out there in terms of mental health and wellness, the more we talk about it, the less it'll feel like a burden on one person. Is my hope is the more we're open with the mental health and the struggles that people go through on a day-to-day basis. Hopefully people will feel less alone. That's my goal in doing this, I think. When I started interacting with the mental health field or the mental health system as a service user, there weren't a lot of people that I knew that struggled the same way I did, or they weren't open about it. And so that was in my early 20s. So about 10 years ago. I'm in my early 30s now. And yeah, and so there wasn't a lot in terms of services or open and honest conversations about mental health. And so I have so much hope for the youth in the way that I have seen them talk about their own mental health and the ways that they may have struggled. And my message for you today is that you are not alone. You are not alone. There are people who are feeling what you're feeling, and if you feel like no one else can understand you, give someone the chance to understand you and let people help you. This one's nice. Healing means accepting all parts of ourselves, not just the parts we like, but all of us. So sometimes we go through things that are really hard for us, and sometimes we go through things that are really joyful. Life, I think, is both experiencing hard times and joy times. Joy times. Joy times. That's a funny saying. I've been out of school for a long time, and the past few months I've been really taking a step back, and I haven't really talked to many people who aren't family or friends. And so I've kept my circle pretty closed off. And so I'm getting used to talking again and being out in the world and interacting with people, and it is refreshing, and it reminds me why I love interacting with people, love meeting people, love all these new conversations. But then yet I can get so scared too. I am so shy. Oh my gosh. You would never know, maybe, but I'm as shy as they come, and sometimes I really clam up. But I am really working on sharing my love and light with the world. And the only thing kind of holding me back is my own self. Okay. I have a comment here, but it's not in a language I can understand. So I'm going to try and see if I can translate it here. But anyways, thanks for the comment. I'm going to read another passage. And this one talks about Wherever you go and whomever you meet, you will find your own love and your highest good waiting for you. That's what life is about, right? Finding out about ourselves, finding out what we like, what we don't like. Oh, this one is good. I'm on my own path. Everyone's on their own path, and one of the things that I've had to do is just trust that I'm in the right time and space, that I'm where I'm meant to be, with the people I am meant to have in my life. One of my favorite quotes is, or it's a, I don't know, I say quote is a saying, a phrase. It's quite common where people will say, you can't mess up what's meant for you. What's meant for you will not pass you by. And in the post of the 10 things that I would say to my younger self, I say, what is meant for you will keep circling back. Even if you feel like you've messed it up, it'll circle back to you. It'll come back into your life, or you'll keep thinking about it, or things won't go away. And so um we sometimes make mistakes and things happen, but what's meant for you will always be there for you. And this one, I like it. And it says, I am in the right place. I am in the right place. Just as all the stars and planets are in their perfect orbit and in divine right order, so are you. You may not understand everything that is going on with our human mind. However, you know that on the cosmic level, you must be in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. Positive thoughts are what you choose to think. This present experience is a stepping stone to a new awareness and a greater joy. Yeah, I love this book. Louise Hay. I can always count on her for a nice little message to work on self-compassion. That's what I'm really about, is how can we be more gentle with ourselves? Life's not easy. This world is not easy. It's not easy to get up every day, go to school, go to work, take care of family, friends, all that this life requires from us. It's not easy. I was having a conversation with one of my friends today, and we were talking about self-image. And, it really made me think of how important it is, and how important it is to love our body, but it's not something that we're really taught, or we are really encouraged to yeah, it wasn't, I don't know, self-image wasn't really talked about when I was growing up. I'm just gonna have a little bit of tea here. It's called Wild Berry Zinger, but I also put in some mint. So it's yeah, I don't know, it's nice with some honey. Okay. I also brought some show and tell. So I have this is one of my favorite crystals. It's called a pink Lemurian quartz. And so um my beliefs are that crystals hold meaning and a vibration that can interact with the human vibration, I guess you would say. And so this pink Lemurian quartz, the purpose of this crystal is to call back all parts of yourself from this life and others. And so I really liked the meaning behind that crystal. Um, because I also believe that we can come back in different forms, I would say. I don't think that like once someone crosses over to like the spiritual realm that that's it, there's nothing else after that. I believe that we can like come back as a plant or an animal or sorry, excuse me. um yeah, that we can come back as a human or a non-human entity. And I always like to think, oh, what kind of flower would I be? Or what kind of animal would I be? And when someone that's so dear to my heart, I asked them, oh, in Australia, what animal would I be? And, he put a lot of thought into it. He was, you know, thinking about it. And then he jumped out and said, kangaroo. And I feel like he was spot on. I could see myself as a kangaroo, and so maybe in another life I was. But I think that viewing the world with that in that way strengthens the relationships that we have with plants or animals or the stones. And it's given me a deeper respect for the non-human entities in our planet. Another stone that I brought to show is obsidian. So I found this tiny little piece, if you can see it. I'm trying to see it in the light. It Yeah, so this obsidian is protects like your psyche or like your mind. And one of the things that I am currently learning is just like the meanings of different crystals. And so yeah, I have, like I showed you, the pink Lemurian quartz and the obsidian. Those are two that I wanted to share with you today. But there's a third. I have a third one here. This one is, I'm just gonna hold it in my hands and warm it up and just it's so beautiful. It's called moss agate. It's my only sphere that I have, but it's green. You can see different shades of green and gray and white. And I got this one, well, my sister got it for me actually, and it's to give you energy or motivation or zest of life in times of stagnation. And so when we're in the thick of things, when we can't see a way out, that is the hardest, in my opinion, one of the hardest places to be, just feeling stuck. And so this crystal came into my life at such a crucial time and from such a significant person in my life. And so I'll show it to you again. It's called moss agate. And I really treasure that. Really treasure that crystal. Oh, what else can I tell you? So we talked about the daily acts of living. I'm just going to go through a quick list again. For those folks out there who are listening, we're just going to do a daily checklist of things to do to take care of yourself today. So 1, you can brush your teeth. 2, you can do your hair care. Brush your hair, put your hair in a ponytail, put it in a bun, braid it, do whatever you need to do for yourself to take care of your hair. And a third one is did you have a chance to get fresh clothes? Did you have a chance to change your energy, put new, clean, not new, but clean clothes on, start the day off right? Or even another way is if you've had like a really heavy day at work or at school or whatever you're up to. A good way to shift the energy is to get into some fresh clothes. Have your like work clothes and then your home clothes. And then, did you have some food today? Did you nourish your body? Did you give your body some nutrients? Food is medicine. And then the last one, were you able to move your body? Were you able to get in some type of exercise, whichever way suits you best? My favorite is going to the pool. I love a good aquafit class, or even just floating around doing my own exercises. I really enjoy. I used to go to the pool. Every morning at 6 a.m. I can be an early bird. I usually fall asleep around 8. So by the time 5 o'clock rolls around the next morning, I am ready to go. So yeah, early morning exercise is what I like to do. And also that's when the pool is really quiet, and for a time, that's when I got to meet my like most treasured people. Were the ones that were going to the pool at 6 a.m. too. Sometimes I was there before the doors even opened. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I really treasure that. So yeah, so what are some ways that you like to move your body and get some exercise? You can feel free to comment in the chat if you like. I always love to hear from whoever's listening out there what's on your mind. Some other ideas are just going for a walk, 20 minutes, half an hour. Sometimes I'll set a timer. Let's say if I want to go for a 30-minute walk, I'll set a timer for like 15 minutes. So I'll walk 15 minutes and then I'll turn around. Oh, yay. Yes, Dion. I love walking too. Yeah, that's a really great way to move your body. Even just for a few minutes, get the blood flowing. Yeah. Some people are runners. There's something to be said about the rush of endorphins while you're moving your body. And some people, it comes during the exercise or after the exercise, but that you just feel so good. And it's really healthy for our brains to experience those endorphins. And it also, one thing I learned about exercise is that when you exercise, your body repairs itself after. But there's more, I wish that I knew all of the technical terms, but essentially, as how I understand it, is your body repairs itself after exercise, but it repairs more. There's more energy that can be used for repairing. So it heals other parts of your body as well when you exercise. So I hope I explained that well enough, but maybe I'll find the book or the podcast where that came from, and I can share with you all a little bit more detail about how our body restores and heals after exercise. And what else can I share with you? I'm just flipping through my journal here. I posted on my Facebook, what is something that I have taught you that would make me laugh? And there were some comments that were really quite surprising. One came from a really treasured friend of mine from when I lived in Australia. And I was traveling around, doing my own thing. and I was working at a travel agency. And to be honest, I still don't know to this day how I got that job because I was fresh in Australia. I knew nothing about it, but yeah, I found myself working at a travel agency. But it just goes to show that, you never know how things are going to work out. Put yourself out there, go after what you want. I really got on well with the manager, the person that was hiring, and maybe they saw something in me that they hadn't seen in the other applicants. But while I lived there, I would always make this special dip sauce. And I use it for like chip dip or veggie dip or really any kind of dip that you want. And so I actually to this day don't know the measurements of each ingredient, but I would say it's like a couple scoops of sour cream and a couple scoops of mayo, then some dill, and I always put Montreal steak spice and a little bit of garlic powder. And in our friend group, some of the guys they would say, "Okay, Rochelle," or they called me Sunny. My nickname was Sunny when I was traveling. And so they'd say, "Sunny, you're not allowed to come to the party unless you bring that dip." And so on my Facebook post, my dear friend said, you can make boys go crazy for dip sauce, and that really is a treasured memory of mine. And it's funny, we don't always know the impact that we have on people, and so it's good to connect with people that know us, that are experiencing life with us, because they also too can teach us about who we are and help us remember. Because those one thing that I've known as someone who's experienced trauma and someone who has, so it's weird. I've kind of like I experienced trauma and then I studied it as well in university. And so I have this like lived experience, but also this educational experience of it as well. But if there's one thing that I learned is that when we are going through trauma or living in a survival state, our brains are not making memories. They are keeping us alive. So you'll hear people talk about the parasympathetic. Oh, I got a phone call. Sorry. You'll hear people talk about like the parasympathetic system and oh, sorry, my words aren't coming out right. Sympathetic system, I think it is. Parasympathetic and sympathetic system, which is when your body is in rest or digest mode, or you're in a fight or flight. And so the sympathetic nervous system is when I really hope this is right. Sometimes it's hard. I get them mixed up. But in one system is like your blood gets flowing quicker, and your body and your breathing rate might increase. And it's the systems that it keeps your body functioning. And so when we're in the parasympathetic system, that's the rest and digest. So that's when we're at ease. That's when our digestion is going smoothly. And so if we're always in the state of arousal and in the state of fight or flight or survival, our brains are keeping us alive. And so they're not really making as strong memories or storing memories the same way. And so I really struggle with my memory. I really rely. It's weird because there's some things that I remember so clearly, but my brain is often foggy. And so I appreciate all those people who are watching this evening. And just listening, because I can be all over the place. My dad would call me a little squirrel. I can be over here and then I'm like, oh, and then I get excited and then I'm talking about something else. So one of the things I tell people ahead of time, and that I maybe should start my streams off with, I talk in circles, and my gosh, I hope you can keep up. Um, and I have no doubt that people will follow along, because I try and loop back and try and say, okay, well, this is what I meant when I say that, and all those kinds of things. But yeah, for someone, I spent 6 years in university, and right now I'm really struggling with like reading and writing. It's just my attention and my focus isn't what it once was. And so I think that wellness and the path to wellness and the path on wellness, we're constantly learning about ourselves. We are always evolving. We are always learning and growing. And it's a part of, accepting accepting where we're at in the moment. And even if it's different than where we've been in the past, and even if it's different than where we would see ourselves in the future or hope for ourselves in the future. I think it's called radical acceptance. Kind of just, this is what it is. And so I'm just trying to be gentle with myself, because did I did really well in university to some degree, considering the circumstances, and to not be able to focus long enough to really read long research studies or long papers, or it's interesting. Oh, okay. I came across this quote in my journal by Atlas Shrugged. Shrugged. The only regret is that I didn't tell you at the beginning. No. Yeah, I think it that really stuck out to me, because it was talking about how if you love somebody, tell them, and tell them soon. Yeah. Yeah. And always ask someone if they're okay. Yeah. That question never hurts. Are you okay? Are you doing okay? Yeah. What else? I'm just looking through my journal, see if there's anything that inspires me to share with you all. Oh, what I would really like. Oh, this part says, I had 4 dragonflies visit me, and the symbolism behind them is mainly about transformation and coming into your own. It's about being true to yourself and shining your brightest light. Wow. Yeah. There's really, it's nice to look back at what I used to write, but I think, I wrote more in university. I journaled a lot when I was younger. And then in university, I wrote a lot of papers. My degree is in Indigenous Studies and Psychology. I did a double major at Vancouver Island University in Nanaimo. And yeah, I had a good time for the most part. University is really hard. And right now I'm at a crossroads where I don't have to, I want to decide, okay, what are the next best steps for me? What's gonna move in the direction that I want to go in? And so I have this love-hate relationship with school. And I'm thinking about going back to university, getting a master's. But at the same time, it's like, can I handle that kind of stress? Can I handle that kind of dedication and commitment? And sometimes I say, "Oh my gosh, it's what I want to do," and sometimes uh, I really can't imagine. So we'll see. It's something that's constantly kind of like on the back of my mind. Um, and then also too, there's so many different programs and so many different universities, and where do you want to apply? Where do you want to live? What do you want to take? It's such a big decision. And, I feel that there's a lot of pressure on youth to go to university and to get a higher education and, all that kind of stuff. And yes, I agree, education is an incredible doorway, but it's also, university is very tough. And it if the timing isn't right, if you're being pressured to go to university and you don't really want to at that time, I can't imagine what that would feel like. I went to university as a mature student. So I graduated high school in 2011, so 15 years ago. Yes, 15 years ago. That's a little wild to me. It's very what is it called? It's a sobering thought. Um, yeah. So I graduated in 2011, and then I took a few years off. I went to Australia. I worked. I got some life experience, and I think for me, that really helped me in my educational journey, in my post-secondary uh, experience. I was able to speak from my life, and from my uh, lived experience of mental health and illness and wellness. Uh, for me, I've experienced various degrees of of wellness, and I've been really, really unwell at times too. And so I'm just looking back at my life, and what a ride. What an absolute ride. You know, there's things that I'm just going to take a pause here and have some tea. I said earlier in the stream, it's a mix of wild berry zinger and mint, and it's really good. I recommend it. I've been kind of trying to use tea as medicine again. Um, this is going to sound, I don't know how to put this, but I knew someone, and we would always have tea together, and we would always talk and all that stuff. But I never felt good after, and so then I kind of stopped drinking tea. Um, and so what I'm trying to say is, maybe it's not the tea, maybe it's the company. So I always like to keep good company around. Um, so yeah, I graduated in 2011 and worked and went to Australia. I lived overseas for a year, and then I started university in my mid 20s. And I like to think that it was the right time for me to go. I didn't know at 18. I had no idea what I wanted to study at university. And if I went to school for what I thought I wanted, my gosh, I have no idea where my life would be. I thought I was going to be a nurse. But now I realize, like, the sight of, like, it's really hard to take care of people when they're not well. And, you know, the sight of blood kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I'm not cut out for giving needles and that kind of thing. So I've tried out like home care or healthcare assistant, and tried healthcare that way. But it's not what I thought that I wanted in high school. And so sometimes, it takes time to figure out what you want. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's no right or wrong way of doing life. It is your life. And my hope for each and every one of you is that you live a life that you're proud of. You live a life that you feel good about. And it's not going to look the same as everybody else. And I think it's beautiful if we all, have these different experiences that we can share with others and learn from each other, you know. Oh yeah, I know what I wanted to share. Okay, so on Healthy Aligned Living on their page, we did 10 things that I would like to tell my younger self. And so I'm just gonna read them out to you today because I feel called to do that. And so I'm just gonna pull it up here and read it off to you. And my hope is that it'll resonate with some of you. And so the title of this little these few sayings is 10 things I love about you. And so these are 10 things that I would say to my younger self. And I think that one day I'll meet her. I never know. When I cross over, or you know, I think, I meet her every day. I meet my younger self every day. But, anyways, these are 10 things that I would say. So, number one, the time is now. Go after what you want, but don't rush. And what is meant for you will keep circling back. Big decisions are made after talking to a few people who care about you. Consider everything and weigh out the options, then decide. So don't rush, weigh out the options. Number 3, you are the light that is needed in the past, present, and future. You are exactly what this world needs to be well. Be more of you. You never know the impact you might have. Number 4, the foundation is the most important part of a house and a relationship. Number 5, trust yourself the most. The only power someone has over you is the power you give them. Never lose sight of who you are. Number 6, don't let anyone make you feel bad about yourself and where you come from, even if it means struggle. Be proud of who you are. So yeah, for those that are just joining, these are the 10 things that I would say to my younger self. We're just in the middle of them. And so number 7 is, yes, if you feel like there is a deeper meaning to something, then there probably is. There is meaning in everything, and life is a metaphor. Be the peacemaker. There is nothing more powerful than making someone feel safe in your energy. Lead by example. Number 9. I really like this one. It says, warm a cold space with your inner fire. You belong wherever you want to be. Don't sit too long at the tables where you do not feel comfortable. Sometimes the best thing you can do is know when you're meant for more and leave. And number 10, respect the people who pray for you. That one really, I hold dear to my heart because I had an elder. He's my elder. I call him my elder. He's my guy. He's the first one who really talked to me about mental health in a way that made me feel good about my life. I had psychiatrists and doctors tell me, "Oh, you're going to struggle your whole life. You're going to, get pretty much saying that my life is over just because of the struggles that I have." And this elder was the first one to say, "Rochelle, you are gifted. You have gifts. Let's get to know them. Let's learn what your gifts are." And will work with them. And so that was the first time that I had really viewed my life and what I was going through as maybe a gift, maybe a lesson, something to teach me more about myself and the world. And with this elder, we went for lunch every Wednesday, and we would take turns buying for each other, and we got to know each other quite well. And I'll never ever forget when he told me that he prayed for me. And I just remember being in awe that this man that I respected so much, that I held in such high regard, prayed for me. He is like a celebrity in my eyes, and when he is getting ready for bed and he is saying, please take care of Rochelle Creator. That changed, that really changed things for me. And so that's why number 10, respect the people who pray for you, the ones that worry about you, the ones that ask you if you're okay, respect them. They love you, right? And I want to talk about life protection and identity, family, community, ways to embrace each other and yourself. I'm all about doing what's right for you, doing what's best for you and your own, taking care of your own heart. Yeah. Embrace each other, embrace yourself. In my live earlier today, I was sharing about self-compassion and the relationship between attachment style, self-compassion, and what mental health. And so I'll just share it again because it is a good way to kind of understand maybe where our internal dialogue comes from. So as we're growing up, say we're we're toddlers or we're young children, and depending on how our caregivers talk to us, when we make mistakes or if we do something that they aren't happy about or that kind of thing, how they talk to us literally trains us and how we talk to ourselves. And so if you had someone say, oh, and I'll just use myself as an example. If I had someone say, oh, it's okay, Rochelle, don't worry, mistakes happen, just shake it off. We'll try again next time. If someone was gentle and soothing and, really treated me with a lot of compassion, then I would also learn to treat myself with a lot of compassion. A lot of people don't have caregivers who are kind to them or treat them with compassion. And so if they're, negative or ridicule us or speak to us in ways that are harmful, then that also teaches us how to talk to ourselves and is a contributor for our internal dialogue. And so your attachment style to your caregiver influences your level of self-compassion. I did this in university, this study. So, you measure people's self-compassion, you measure their attachment style, and then we also measured their mental health. And so what we found was people who are more self-compassionate self-compassionate have healthier attachment styles or more secure attachment styles, and their well-being is higher on the scales that we use. And I found this research really interesting because I'm always learning and always striving for ways to be more gentle, ways to be more kind to myself, ways to be more compassionate. Because that internal dialogue that is like, oh, you're this, or you're that, or, it doesn't feel good. And I'm really working towards loving myself more and more each day. More and more each day. Yeah, so there's really no time limit for me on here. I'm just thinking of like, what more do I have to say tonight? We're now 7:05 Mountain Time here in Edmonton. Yeah, maybe now would be a good time to pull a card. I got two decks that I want to try. One is called Wisdom of the Elders by Sean Leonard. The other one is Sacred Medicine by Asha Frost. I'm not sure which one is used, but either way, these both are beautiful decks. So let's start with the Wisdom of the Elders. And so I really like Oracle decks to provide, like, I don't know, just like a simple message, something to think about during the day, or something to give you a new perspective. That's what I use the cards. And so everyone, I'm just going to move my camera down a bit so you can see I'll hold the cards up. So this is what they look like on the back. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. We got some nice flowers. And so I'm just going to shuffle them. Everyone pulls cards different. I like to take a minute and breathe, take a few deep breaths in and out, center myself, and then I'll shuffle them. And I kind of just wait till a card kind of flips out or jumps out. And then that will be the message for the day. So I'm just going to ask, like my creator and spirit guides, ancestors, all those working with me in this life. I just ask that, a message comes through these cards, and someone out there will need to hear this. So I'm just gonna shuffle. This is a new deck for me, so we're just learning how it feels in the hands and how to work with it. So I just kind of shuffle. Oh, we got a few. Let's see what they say. Oh, 3 came out. Okay. Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay. So we got number 41, Spirit Plate Offering. Whoops. There we go. And I'll look at the meanings of these cards, and I can share a little message about what they mean. I don't know this deck through and through, so I'm not able to just like read off them right away. I'll have to use the guidebook, but that doesn't scare me. And then we have, this is so beautiful. Number 28, Sweetgrass, Sacred Medicine, Strength. And what I find kind of interesting is that we also have for our third card, Cedar, Sacred Medicine. So we got Sweetgrass, we got Cedar, and we got the Spirit Plate. So, this is really nice. I know for coastal nations, cedar is the tree of life. I really learned that in my studies and living on the coast. And sweetgrass medicine. Yeah. Sweetgrass. It smells really good. And I love seeing it braided and the strength that braided sweetgrass can provide. Okay, so I'm just going to look up through in the little guidebook here, and I'm just going to look for just a few words for each card. What message uh, someone needs to hear. This is for whoever's listening. This is about the Spirit Plate card, the card that came up, offering. If you have drawn this card today, it might correspond with an important date in your life. Perhaps you just had a graduation, celebrated a birthday, or there is a recent anniversary coming up connected to a loved one in the spirit world. Whichever the case, remember to invite and include your loved one in the spirit world to the celebration. Oh, I love that. I really love that. You know, it brings me peace. I do have some loved ones in the spirit realm, and you know, it's comforting to know that I can invite them to spend time with me. I can invite them to guide me. They can be a part of my reality in this world, even if they're not physically here. You know, it's one grief of someone who has passed on is really a really topic that's close to my heart. It's close to my heart. So I'm going to read about cedar next. So we got the cedar card, cedar sacred medicine, and it's saying protection. So a little message for our cedar card today is, if you have drawn the cedar sacred medicine card today, this is a reminder that there is power in prayer, and now might be a time to ask others for help or to ask for spirit to intervene. Prayers are always heard and are often answered, but you have to take the first step and ask. If either you or someone you love has been dealing with health issues or emotional stressors connected to heartache, this might be a gentle nudge from the spirit to utilize the power of sacred cedar medicine and to trust that healing is possible. Yeah, healing is possible. Even if we're going through hard things right now, we will see through. We will come out the other side. We will make it through this. I love that. Okay, and the next one, number 28, sweetgrass, strength. So this one, it says, if you have drawn the sweetgrass sacred medicine card today, it is a reminder to savor the sweetness in your life. Oftentimes, the most cherished moments we experience are fleeting and may even be fragile. But it is important nonetheless to appreciate those moments. There might also be a call to connect more closely with others, either to our ancestors or community or family members. We are never alone in this life, and there is strength in numbers, both through our ancestors in spirit and to those closest to us in the physical world. Yeah. Cherished moments. That looks different for everyone. I'm just trying to think about like what some cherished moments might be for me. I have a lot of like cherished moments from my travels overseas. I think it's when I learned a lot about myself. But I also have cherished moments about like family and friends. I think one of my favorite is like when I would wake up in the morning and go and hug my dad at the top of the stairs, and he would kind of like scratch my back and hug me, and I remember just like feeling so safe and so loved in that moment. You know, it was It was nice. That's one thing that I hope, to take with me if I ever have a family, um, is that when mom or dad or mom and mom or dad and dad or, like whoever, when your caregiver comes home, you greet them at the door. And I just remember, yeah, when my dad would come home from work and you would just say hi at the door whenever someone came home. You hug them and you say hi, how was your day? So yeah, I really hope to bring that with me in into my into my household. But it's funny, like now in like family functions and stuff, it takes like if someone's leaving, it takes like 15 minutes to get out the door. You got to hug everybody, you got to say goodbye to everybody, and then, okay, let's hug again, let's say goodbye. And, you got to prepare sometimes like, yeah, 15 minutes to say goodbye. But it's the same thing with me in phone calls when I'm talking on the phone. I'll say, okay, yeah, goodbye, love you. Yeah, love you too. Okay, hope you have a good day. Yeah, okay, you take care. Yeah, miss you. Yeah, miss you too. Like it just takes so long. But I think that's nice. I really like, slow goodbyes. Sometimes they're hard though. Sometimes they're hard. So I'm pulling this another card from the Sacred Medicine deck. Sacred Medicine Oracle. And then I have the little guidebook here. So we'll see. This deck is also new. I have one deck that I typically use, a tarot deck that I use more often than others, but I'm trying to branch out. I'm trying to, use more tools, let's say. So I'm just going to shuffle them here. You can see them. This is how I shuffle. And these cards are a little bit big in my little hands. But this one kind of flipped. So we'll see what it says. Okay. Full spirit moon. Shine. I love that. So let's try for another one. Usually I like to let them flip out a little bit, or sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel like that one wants, just follow my intuition. Like how we pulled the other one. I'm like, oh, I think that one kind of wanted to come out. Yeah. You see me struggling with these cards. One will come. One will come. Or maybe let's read about the full spirit moon. Number 4, shine. I have a good feeling about this card. I feel like it's going to be real nice. Okay. I like this. Okay, sorry. I just got a little bit distracted. I was reading a little bit about it. So this is what it looks like. So we got the big full moon there, shining in all her glory. When I think of the full moon, I think of my most treasured favorite time in Australia when I went whitewater rafting under the full moon on the Tully River. I did it during daytime and that went good. And then I caught wind that they would go on a full moon at night, and whitewater rafting has to be one of my favorite hobbies or activities maybe. And so when we went on a full moon, it was amazing. The water was black, but everything around it was lit up with the full moon. And I remember being so terrified, but so intrigued at the same time. So yeah, full moon makes me think of that day, and going down a rapid and you can't really tell, what's what. You just have to trust, the people around you, the people that are guiding you, and it takes a lot to trust those around us, for sure. So back to the full moon, full spirit moon key word is shine. So this passage here, it says, what needs to be released so that you can shine as bright as the full moon? So what needs to be released in your life? In Grandmother Moon's fullest expression, we are blessed with a light that is unapologetic and bold. Your precious essence is being called forward to match this energy. I like that. Unapologetic and bold. We will all go through seasons where our light dims and we feel small. This card shines forward to clear that away. What self deprecating voices need to be released from your heart? What beliefs from your soul? As you step into the beauty of the expansive moonlight, you are pure illumination and potential. If you have felt shy in the past, to radiate in your fullness, remember that you are enough and there is a space for you in this world. You belong. Allow the tides of your inner waters to be pulled by this full spirit moon. For you have walked the path of becoming, and you can no longer deny your spark. Claim your magnetic essence, reveal your truth, and be you. That is wonderful. I love that. Unapologetic and bold. If you felt shy in the past, remember that you are enough and there is space for you in this world. You belong. Yeah, Dion says, what a beautiful message. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Wow. Claim your magnetic essence, reveal your truth, and be. Yeah, I like that. And the healing affirmation for this card is, it is safe to take up space. I stand audaciously and own my luminosity. Wow. Yep, it is safe to take up space. There is room for all of us. There is space for everyone to express themselves. It is okay to be who you are. It's encouraged. I encourage it. There we go. Okay, well, I feel like I am ready to close up for the evening. I just want to say thanks to all of you for listening. It was really quite an experience. This is only my second time ever live streaming. The plan is to be on here Mondays and Wednesday nights. And yeah, I'll be around. So yeah, keep in mind, I think I would like to eventually do like a question and answer. You know, I'm an open book. I like answering people's questions. So if there's, you know, something that you would like to ask me, keep in mind, and maybe we'd have an opportunity to do some Q&As. So I think that would be it would be exciting. So anyways, I wish you all a good night. I love you. I hope that you get a good sleep and you feel rested tomorrow. You belong in this world. The world needs more of your light. Be you. Be proud of you. And yeah, this pep talk could go all night long. Maybe that's what I'll do for my next stream. Just a pep talk. Just give everyone a pep talk. What we need to hear to be feel good and who feel good in our center. So yeah, anyway, good night everyone. Wish you all the best.